And you're welcome to Real Talk. We are live, and I've got a very, very special guest in the house, and she's getting ready to drop into the main frame. So, our special guest today is Carol Estrada from Northport Social Services. How you doing, Carol?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. We've got a lot going on in social services, but can you give an overview to those people who are out there who may not understand what and why Northport has a social services department?
Yeah, absolutely. We are here to help Northport residents as far as um, helping in a financial crisis. So, we're here to help with rent, electricity, water, mortgage for Northport residents if they're past due. We're here, we have resources that we can connect them as well. So, if we're not able to assist them, we can connect them to another agency that is able to assist them. We have our children's community clothing closet that their Northport residents are able to come and shop for free. And then we also have our Northport and nonprofits program as well that we'll get a little bit into a little bit in the conversation. And then our events that we have throughout the year. We have our senior giving tree, we have our supply squad, we have adopt and shop, and then we have our community baby shower as well. So we do a lot for the community, and people don't realize that we are here. So we like to do things like this so that we can, reach everyone to see if they'll come and visit us or, see us at an event or something.
Well, and far beyond that, you're networking with the nonprofit organizations that you have outreach to.
Yes,
They
correct.
play a huge factor in really addressing some of the issues that the city can't address. Correct?
Yes, correct. So that's what our Northport nonprofits, which is our MP Square program, is meant to help. It's meant to connect that bridge between the local municipal government and our local nonprofits. So we're here to help them and then help us as well because we do work with them a lot. We in social services we connect with a lot of our nonprofits in the area, and it's good to have those relationships because they do help our Northport residents. So the purpose of the program is that nonprofit agencies that serve Northport residents are able to apply for a non-mission or a mission support item. Not like it's a tangible item that is going to be used by their agency who can help Northport residents. So, for example, like if an agency is needing a refrigerator to keep, like the food pantry going, then that's something that they can apply for. So we just had our fourth round of agencies apply. We're going through those applications now. And then in September, we go through the applications and the board approves those. Each agency gets up to $2,000. So that's what they're able to apply for. And if it's a little bit more, then they would have to pay the difference. But that's what it's meant to do, the program. And I was just part of the leadership group with the chamber, and I got to meet a lot of, we already work with some of them, but some agencies that I didn't even know were in the area that are also helping. It was good to go to them and see like what they're doing, who they're helping, and our products being used that we help them purchase. And like, this is great. This is a great connection between nonprofits and local municipal government.
And for a city our size, that
Mhm.
having the nonprofits, the Kiwanis, the food banks. You talked a little bit about Meals on Wheels and different organizations like that. They play a huge factor in providing support that really the city as a whole can't really do. And that
Mhm.
partnership that you guys are building and what you see, uh, doesn't that open up avenues for businesses to participate and really gain access? I don't want to say gain access. Maybe structure the access to the citizens back a different way.
I think so. So one good example that I really like to always give is Northport Meals on Wheels, right? So they had done their application and they asked for a can opener. We're like, a can opener, like that's not going to really change your mission support. And then they did a video, which is great. That's what we want. We want the media to see that um, the videos and everything to show the community, because again, even us who were like, oh, a can opener, they showed how many cans they open a day and the difference that that little can opener, the industrial can opener, did. So they were sitting there opening, with their one that they had in their kitchen, and then compared to the one that they had applied for and that they received through the MP Square program, it was a big difference, and it cut a lot of hours. And then a lot of their volunteers are, seasonal. They're people who are having doing it on their free times, like seniors, and so that's putting a lot of work on their back and their arms to try to open a can, because they're big cans that they're opening. And I thought, I was like, wow, just seeing that video of them just opening one can, how much time that saves them. That's the purpose of the program. It's meant to help them and move a little bit faster and be able to serve their community a little bit better, because that item is cutting hours from having someone sit there and open cans when they can probably be driving and delivering all this food. So I think that's a good example of the Northport and Nonprofits United.
So with some of these programs that are out there, you've got a lot of volunteers that are serving the community, but our social services department as a whole, how would you sum it up? You've been there a while. You've been on now. This is third time being live on the air with Real Talk, but
Mm-hmm.
talk a little bit about the the asset that the community has to understand of the social services department.
So I think it's just like word of mouth as well, trying to get people to come in through the door. A lot of people think, oh, social services can't help us because we're not low income. And, the price of everything is going up. The need is there, and we're helping more and more people every day. And we don't really we do have an income guideline, but you don't have to be low income to apply for services. And even if, for example, our children's community clothing closet, even if you come and shop at the closet, or you're donating your kids stuff that you no longer have use for, you're helping other members in the community that aren't able to shop for their kids by donating. So having all of these rotating programs, our annual events, our adopt and shop that's coming up, it's a big program as well. I think last year we had 502 children who we needed to have the community come together and help us get these kiddos adopted for the holiday. And we did. Every child got adopted out, and I was like, "Whew, that was a struggle for me." But we were out there. We were out there asking everyone, like, "Do you guys want to adopt someone? You guys want to adopt someone?" And they did, and that's because the community came together and they saw the need and they helped us out.
But you work in conjunction with a lot of these groups that are already doing these. We have Shop with the Cop. We have Kiwanis who does things. I know that my Buckeye group, we donate a lot of the toys that they focus on the teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we've helped you. I think it was probably 4 or 5 years ago that we kind
Mm-hmm.
of partnered together and did some things with the Buckeye group. And then Kiwanis has kind of gathered that momentum and worked with us directly. And now we're I think we're actually doubling the amount of kids that we help.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's not even with an organization that's a nonprofit. It's just a football watching group that
Yeah.
stepped in, and we do food drives and different things like that. But that is the productivity of what social services department does, because it provides the structure for everybody to work around. Is that a good overview?
Yes, so a lot of agencies do similar programs. So we like to also try to work with each other. I mean, I know there's Salvation Army, they have their Angel Tree, Toys for Tots, and then who else is in the community? Oh, I can't think about them now, but I mean, Kiwanis is one of them as well, who
Yep.
they adopt out kiddos. And we try to work with agencies so that we're not duplicating efforts and, not everyone's going around. Same thing with the Shop a Cop. We make sure that everyone's able to get something for the holidays. And that's like the big reason why we ended up changing our back to school resource fair. So we revamped that program. That used to be where we were shut that kiddos were able to come in and learn about some resources with their parents. Nonprofit agencies would sign up to be exhibitors, and then they would go around to each table, and at the end they would get their supplies, so their backpack and their supplies for school. But as we were trying to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars, and we wanted to see each year, we saw a trend that the numbers were going down and we were duplicating efforts in the community. A lot of agencies were doing the same thing. So this year we wanted to be a little bit mindful, and we went ahead and revamped the program to be the supply squad. So we ended up taking a few families out shopping. So it's not the great number that we had with the back to school resource fair, but it was more impactful. So we worked with the local schools here in Northport. We asked for them to refer us families who they know that are in need. And we took all of them shopping. We took them to lunch. We got them supplies. We got them backpacks. If they wanted backpacks, but we got them. We wanted to get them prepared for school. So, and it was an impactful thing. It was a good change. Even these families. It was a two-part component, so they had to come to the workshop because we didn't want to lose that from our back to school resource fair, because a lot of the nonprofits, that's where they would learn from the agencies. So we had a workshop for the parents. They had to come in, do the workshop, still learn about these resources, and then we had within a month we went ahead and took the kiddos shopping and their families, and it was great. It was great I was assigned a few families. Everyone got to assign a few families. Kiwanis helped us out. They came to the workshop and handed out undergarments and socks, and then they helped us out on the shopping day as well, and they got assigned a few families as well. And it was just a great day. All the kiddos were so happy, and just sitting all around at lunch and everything. And we've seen a lot of the families come back, like, I didn't even know you guys were here. Like, they've come back for services. They reached out to some of the agencies as well, and then I've seen some of them at like events and stuff like that. And then the kiddos remember me, and I'm like, oh, that's so nice. Like, I get to grow with them throughout the school year, and that's what we wanted to do and change the program.
So we talk a little bit about the kids. I
Hmm.
want to kind of switch gears a little bit because we I know that you also have a huge following with the senior population.
Hmm.
How do you guys affect our seniors in our city?
So we do work a lot with the Northport Senior Center as well. I know they're going to be moving to another location, so that is going to hurt us a little bit. But because we were able to just let them know, hey, you can just walk over, to the next building and either go to Awaken or go to the Northport Senior Center. There's some
Right.
activities there for you, and now we still refer them to another city location, but it was a good help to have them here and have them local so that we can refer them out to them. I know that a lot of seniors that move here, like, oh, I just retired, and I'm spending my time from two different locations. Is there somewhere that can help me? Is there somewhere that I can go that I can make friends or will help me with my bills? We also refer them to the Senior Friendship Center, even though that's in Venice, but they still help a lot of our Northport residents as well. And it's just a big thing. They come here too. Now that we also help with the Department of Children and Families, we have a lot of seniors coming in for those applications. as well. And we help them through that. We make sure that they're able to apply for their benefits in a timely manner. And we also have our senior giving tree, which the date and time are still, or date and location are still to be determined. But our senior giving tree is one of our favorite events. So usually that happens through December, and it's where we serve 100 seniors a lunch, and they get to spend the day with us basically. So they get to sit in lunch, they get to have entertainment by these silver foxes. They're hilarious. It's fun to watch them. I stand in the back and I'm supposed to be working, but I'm like, oh, I just want to watch them for a little bit. And they get to play bingo. That's my favorite. I love to help. Michael White is the one that does our announcement for that, and I love to sit there and just watch them because it's so much fun. And they leave with a little gift at the end of the day, so it's just something that they're able to enjoy. You know, there's been people that come for they've been coming for a few years, as long as I've been here at least, and they are so happy. They're like, oh, look at my outfit, and did we get our picture? I think last year we didn't do a photo booth because I didn't think anyone wanted the photo booth. They're like, where's the photo booth? Are we not going to get our picture? And I was like, I'm so sorry. Okay. I did get them their pictures, but they liked the prop. They liked it. It's like a fun day out for them. And, you know, it's just our senior population. They don't want to be forgotten either, you know, so we're here for them as well. We're close to Willow Creek. So a lot of, the residents from there walk to us, you know, like they ask questions about any resources that we may know about. So it's really good that we're so close in vicinity to them where they can come to us as well.
And you talked a little bit about the structure and how it helped, but having the services there in one building that you guys have, and then you have some access to other organizations within that building.
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect the average person coming in the door for the first time? Can you kind of walk through what happens to them as they come in the door?
Yeah, so the building can get a little tricky. So people sometimes, because we have all of our agencies downstairs and then we're upstairs. So you know, we will people will be like, oh, you know, where are you located? We're on the second floor, so everyone has to come find us. But the good thing about having the agencies downstairs is that, you know, someone will come in looking for one thing. You know, it's such a diverse group. So we can either help your infant with WIC services, pregnant mamas, you know, with WIC services as well. We have Spark in the building that can help our, you know, domestic violence survivors. And then we have AARP who's here to help our seniors as well, in you know, tax time or any of their programs that they run as well. Then we have Center Place Health who has their counseling here. And we also have them across the street for medical services. And then we have the veteran Sarasota County Veterans Affairs here. They're able to assist as well, our vets. And then we have Big Brothers Big Sisters. So we have the kiddos that they're able to assist, you know, with a meeting with the parents or either meeting with their little bigs or littles. And then who else do we have here? We have literacy volunteers for those who are either learning the language or just wanting to get a little bit more of, you know, vocabulary. And then we have empath health as well. So grief support for those who have lost someone. And then we have our policing community unit as well upstairs, who is able to do a lot of our homeless outreach. So we do get a lot of our some of our population who are homeless will come in here looking for services, and we can refer them out to them as well. And we can help with other agencies in the building. And that's the good thing of the Family Service Center, that we're able to refer them someone locally, not someone that's, you know, hey, call this number, call this number. We like to make sure that we can give a warm handoff. It's either call this number and you can call so-and-so, or let me call them, see if they're available so that you can call. And then that's the good thing about the Family Service Center. And then we have the Awaken next door. So some of those individuals who are looking for food assistance, they are able to also go next door and be like, hey, they're open now. You can go stand in line and get your food as well while you wait for your either your DCF, which is Department of Children Benefits, to kick through.
You just named, gosh, it was probably in between the 10 and 12
Yeah.
organizations, and there's
Hmm.
more that you refer people to outside
Hmm.
of that, because you mentioned Meals on Wheels that's out there, so that's
Hmm.
another connection outside the building. Kiwanis, that's another connection outside the building.
Hmm.
And I know you work hand in glove with a lot of the nonprofits. So as you're going through some of these things with old residents, young residents, or brand new residents to our community who are trying to figure things
Hmm.
out, how how important would you position your services to the community? We're going through some changes now with budgets and different things like that. I can't imagine not having a social services department to assist those in need. Um, we're at 100,000 roughly right now, and
Hmm.
there is focus that has to be given to all those things. I don't want to put you in a position at all, because I think people realize that there is a need for all kinds of services here in the city of Northport. But you guys are analyzing everything that you're doing to maximize the rate of return of service, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I don't, I'm a little biased, obviously. So
No,
it
no.
is, but we are a great help. When I first started here, I didn't realize all the assistance that we give, and there's only five of us. There's only five of us here, and we are helping, the 100,000 population. Anyone that calls us that is needing assistance, either like you said, people who are just moving here who don't know who to contact, or someone who has their grandparent here because or their parent and they're in another state and they want to make sure that they're okay, like who do they need to contact. Although we don't do case management a lot, we do get a lot of those phone calls who people are asking, like, how can I get my family support down there? And so we connect them to the correct agency that's able to assist them, even with a lot of our resources as well. So we, like you said, I forgot Northport Meals on Wheels is in our building. I forgot to mention them. They're in our building. And, again, someone's calling for their grandparent. Oh, I'm not sure if they ate today. Like, we connect them with Meals on Wheels and say, hey, this is a service that either you can apply for or they can apply for, but at least they'll have someone coming to them. However you guys set it up with Northport Meals on Wheels. And it's just that the connections that we make with everyone. There's families that we help that aren't able to get their kiddos outfits, and we have their children's community clothing closet where residents are able to come and shop every other month. And we hear from residents who are saying this assistance really helps me because I can't afford it. I cannot, my kids are growing and I cannot afford to get them the clothing that they need. And this assistance is something that I do need. And it's a nice little experience as well. They're able to come and shop in the closet and feel like they're, in a store shopping for some clothes. And a lot of our clothes, if we wouldn't put it on our kids, we're not going to put it out there. So
Right.
they're good clothing. But it's us trying to help our residents and making sure that they stay housed. That's the basis of social services. The way we help them with the financial crisis. Make sure that before they get either evicted or their lights get turned off, we are able to assist them.
Before I get to Sean's question, Sean, I want you to put, because he said that they want to participate. Put the name of the organization up so I can add that in so she can have
Mhm.
this as a reference, Sean. But the the importance that you just said about the child, even the seniors that are coming in and the new residents that are coming in, the confidence level that you must be providing to them and the change of the life experience within the city,
Mhm.
that's a big factor too, because perception of a city caring for them versus perception of a city not providing at all. That's the
Yeah.
difference. For what you're doing. But Sean says, great discussion. Does your office host a local available service expo at all? If so, we'd like to be a part of it.
Okay.
And it's here's the health organization.
Oh, okay. We don't host one that's just like directly for us. We do have our community baby shower, and well, we had our back to school resource fair, but we are trying to do more expos, especially geared towards senior, because that's our big population here. So, I mean, I would love to have the information. I can reach out and let you know what we're working on.
Absolutely. Sean, if you shoot me a quick text and at the end of the show, I'll forward it over to her.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. But any other questions, you guys feel free to ask away. There's a lot of organizational help out there. There's a lot of ways that you could volunteer. I'm sure that if you wanted to get some volunteer time over at the Meals on Wheels organization, my good friend Ken is the executive
Mhm.
director over there, and one of our past commissioners, Jill Luke, sits on the
Mhm.
board over there. So they're very active. They take a lot of pride in it. I've done a lot of shows over there with them and held conversations on trying to get that educational piece out. That's the most important part of what you do is that
Mhm.
connection and getting the information really where it's needed to the community and right into the hands of those in need the most. Do you find that the people that you're helping still have hesitation when it comes to I don't want to call it a handout. I wish we'd change that mindset. I like the words hand up
Mhm.
instead of handout because as long as we're helping our fellow citizens up in upward momentum, we change everything. So I would one, I would love to hear some outreach in that regard as far as helping our people in upward momentum. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I think it a lot of people it that's my biggest reason why I try to go above and beyond for someone who calls and is asking for services, because to come in person, that's the hardest part. Like that's the first step for someone saying, "Hey, I just lost my job," or "I am about to get evicted." Like that takes a lot, and for someone to be like, "Oh, okay, we can't help you." No, that's not what we're in the service for. So we want to make sure, even if we can't help them with our services for whatever reason, they either got it in the past, they're not Northport residents, that we try to connect them to someone who is able to assist them, because we don't want to like knock them down while they're trying to ask for help, right? Because if they get knocked down the first time, then who's to say they're not going to go ask for help from someone else, because
Right.
they're like, "Oh, I already did it and I got shut down and I didn't like it and I don't want to do it." So I think for us, that's their biggest thing, to make sure that they get that assistance, regardless if we're able to help them or not.
One of my biggest fans, and I'm a big fan of Cheyenne Emmerich Davis. She asked, are you guys in the need of clothing donations? If so, what sizes and where would people drop them off?
Yes, we are. So, we are always needing donations, especially our like younger kiddos. So, anything from 2T all the way to like, I want to say like small, medium, large for boys or girls. Anything for those sizes are great. And you can drop them off at our Family Service Center at 6919 Outreach Way anytime Monday to Thursday from 8 to 5. We'll be here and
So,
we can accept donations.
Outreach Way, explain how to get there from US 41. Give some markers where people
Okay.
can.
So bad at this, but I'll do it. So, you're coming off of 41 and you turn right on Pan American, and you keep going all the way down. You'll see the big. Let me see. What
What's it?
is it?
What's at the corner of you? 41. Isn't
The
that the
corner.
college?
I honestly don't know what is in the
USF
corner.
is on the corner, and we've got the strip mall. You go in between the strip mall
Yes,
and the new
there's
building
a
that
strip
we
mall
just built.
there.
Yep,
Yep. And
and
so
you go
you
over the
you're right
bridge.
in. Yes, there.
Yep. And
What you
so
said, and then we will pass like our one of our fleet locations, and then you'll pass well, first Willow Creek, our fleet location, and then you'll pass the community education center, which houses the Awaken, and then you'll see the two-story blue building on your right hand side, and you'll see the sign out there as well, and then you turn right on to Outreach, and then we're right there in the parking
yeah,
lot.
and yeah, it's a great building.
Hmm.
You've got lots of assets for the community to engage with within that building itself. Um, you hit a lot of them when you walk through this. And what is amazing is that everyone within that building kind of collaborates together on their needs and their wants, and then it kind of goes the same way when a citizen walks in the door, correct?
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have people that walk in downstairs, and they're trying to either find us or they're trying to get services from another agency, and we'll have one of the agencies from downstairs bring people up, be like, "Oh, okay, they were looking for you guys, and they didn't know where to go, so we walked them up here." And I think that's a good part of all of us working together. We do meet usually once a month, all of the nonprofits in the area. Well, not all of them, that, if those who are available, we meet here at the Family Service Center so that we can touch base. We can all connect with what are our updates, what are we needing, what are you guys seeing in the community as far as is there services available, is there funding available, just so that we can all connect and all have the same understanding. So I know right now some of the funding has changed throughout the year, and we update each other each month. Like, okay, we have this, we don't have this, we're gonna need this, we're still waiting on this. So it's a good time for all of us to connect and make sure that we are all understanding. Like, hey, and that's what helps when people come in here, where we might not be able to help someone, but then we'll refer them out to one of our other agencies because we're like, oh, okay, they came to our interagency and they said that they had funds available, so we can go ahead and contact them and do a warm handoff.
And I'm going to highlight something because we don't feel it in Florida as much as they do up north, but we have the winter months coming.
Yeah.
We don't feel that pressure that they feel up north, and I'm from up north, so I understand the pressures of up there with the temperatures.
Mhm.
We do have some cold days that we really work with the homeless and the local police department. Our police department is bar none exceptional at what they do. Uh,
Mhm.
they really work hard for our community in all aspects of representation, even to the homeless. They are working hand in glove with them to try to I don't want to say corral them, but work with them directly to get them assistance where they need, because
Mhm.
everybody is at a level of life. I don't think anybody's ignoring anybody in this town. I think everybody's trying to do their level best to
Yeah.
assist those people with a way up and out. Um, Again, you have to want that, but what you said has so much value. When someone asks for it, that's the most difficult thing.
Yeah.
You can provide it when they're asking is life changing for a lot of people. Do you
Mhm.
see those stories?
Yes, we do. So we'll have someone come in here and they'll say, I slept in my vehicle last night, and they were here in Northport, so we were able to provide them with an access point. And an access point is more so to get into transitional housing, short term transitional housing. And then if that's not like a right away solution for them, but we try to connect them with the community policing unit as well, who may be able to assist them a little bit better because that is their fields of what they're doing with them on a daily basis. So we do have some people who have got housed. I think that they had posted a picture of the individual. He would come to the building all the time, and they finally got him housed, and it was good to see that. Like we're like, oh, okay, so we get to see the stories because sometimes they don't come back and tell us. So and then I saw the picture on Facebook. I'm like, oh, he did get his, the access point did work for him, and a lot of people aren't able to wait for the access point. So we try to refer them to other agencies that are able to help them because there is no shelters here in Northport. So they have to go to either Sarasota or Bradenton where there is shelters available for them, which is a little bit harder.
Yeah, and guys, the homeless who travel don't travel in the modes that we all think we travel in. Um, a lot of them are walking. They're pushing a cart, maybe on a bike or a scooter. Um,
Yeah.
all these things matter, but that collaborative working unit that you talk about, that I know the police department, when I talk with them, they talk about it. They talk about the value of nonprofits. I kind of want to hit on one aspect that is kind of left out, and that's a lot of the churches that step up
Mhm.
for our community. And they don't take a lot of applause for what they do. They're
Mhm.
quiet in their approach because I think it leaves the door open for growth within the church, so that there, what you said, less fear of approach.
Yeah.
And can you talk about that connection, though, that you see from the organizations out there that don't like push for the standing ovation? Not that all of them do, but
Mhm.
everybody wants to talk about their organization, but the churches kind of seem quiet.
Yeah. So we see firsthand because they're next to us. So Awaken, they do help a lot in the community. They have their events throughout the year that they help with back to school. They also help with the holidays, Thanksgiving. They help with Christmas. So they do help a lot in the community. We see it firsthand. But I mean, St. Pedro and 100 Church, they do a lot as well. I know 100 Church has, when it gets, like you mentioned, it gets cold out here for Florida, and they do provide shelter for them, for homeless individuals who aren't housed, for them to stay somewhere while it's cold outside. So I think a lot of the churches, they don't, like you said, they're not like out here saying, oh, we're helping, but they definitely are helping us.
And those are the silent partners
Hmm.
that are out there that are doing their part for the community. Um, if those assets weren't participating in the way they did, it does leave a gap. That, I mean, you
Hmm.
talked about it. A lot of these people in a shelter situation would have to go elsewhere. Food, if Awakened Church wasn't doing what they're doing, and other churches are still. I'm not saying they're not stepping up because they all
Yeah.
have their food closets and they're all assisting in every level that they can. And that's why I wanted to kind of give them some props because all the organizations that and I don't want to say deserve props, all of them do, because if our social service department
Hmm.
wasn't helping coordinate some of this stuff and bringing a centralized location for people to go to, it would be much harder for these organizations to assist the citizens who are in need.
Yes, I agree. I do think that a lot of these agencies and churches do great with their communication because I see a lot of them on social media. But yes, it is one place where a lot of people come here, and we're able to connect those two together. So either they're needing some food, so they go to the food pantries, or they're needing assistance from any of the local nonprofits in the area. We're able to assist them that way too. And then, I do say local a lot of times because we do have them here in the building, but there is a lot because we technically are in Sarasota County that we do have to refer out to some agencies in Sarasota County. And it is a little bit harder for some agents or some individuals to get over to Sarasota. So that was the purpose of the Family Service Center. But there is a lot of great agencies all around here.
What's our partnership like in Charlotte County? Because there has to be some crossover because Northport is kind of on that line,
Hmm.
and people looking for services sometimes just go to the closest place.
Yeah.
Or word of mouth gets out and they say, go to Northport. They're really great at assisting. How does that work with somebody that comes from a different county? Do we assist or do we give them reference points to get assistance?
So we give them reference points to get assistance over to Charlotte County, even to Venice, Inglewood. We do connect them with other agencies, even though we might not be as well versed as who's there, who's able to assist them. We do know of the agencies that are able to help them over there. So Charlotte County has a great human services building department, so we do refer them out. So if we get someone that's saying I'm past due with my rent and they live in Port Charlotte, then we refer them out to Charlotte County Human Services, and then they're able to assist them with either getting their bills paid or their rent up to date. So yeah, we have gone out to them, but as far as having a like relationship with them, we just refer them out.
Great. And that's still good. Um, I want to talk a little bit about Spark.
Hmm.
I worked with CARE for many, many years down in Charlotte
Hmm.
County, and CARE does an amazing job. I
Hmm.
know Spark does the same thing.
Yes.
You talk a little bit about that, but I want to take a different twist
Okay.
because the twist I want to give there is there are there are important tasks that you have when someone comes in the door, but the domestic violence side of things amplifies your job differently, I believe. Can you explain how that's handled when somebody comes in the door and needs help through Spark, and how that, I don't want to say changes your approach, but maybe puts a different approach to what you do and how you handle it?
Yeah. So, and that's always a sensitive subject, right? Because you want to be as sensitive as you can be to any individual. So, I'll just share one person that I had here close recently. So, she had been coming here to the Children's Community Clothing Closet. I want to say maybe 2 years already. She's been a client. And she's had, the kids come in and, I get to see them. I'm like, oh, okay, you guys are going back to school, and she seemed really sad, and I ended up telling her there wasn't enough clothing for her son, but she's like, she kept coming every day too, and she would like kind of be like, oh, I just want to look, and I could tell something was wrong. And I ended up asking like, everything okay? And she ended up telling me the issues in her household, and that she wants to leave her household because it has gotten violent, and she just wanted to take the kids out of the home throughout the day because it was summertime. And so she would come here, and knowing that we were friendly and stuff, she would come here and just walk the building and stuff. And I let her know about Spark services, and I made that connection. I was like, okay, let's make sure that we can not necessarily, she was still trying to determine what she wanted to do with her future. And I said, okay, Spark can help you decide that. They can guide you towards these are your options. And now you would have to make that decision yourself. So what I what I did was walked her down to the Spark office, and I gave her the warm handoff, and she was able to connect with them as well as connect her with legal aid who can help her with whatever services that she needed, either legally, immigration wise as well. So she was able to get those connections because she just came to the Children's Community Clothing Closet. So things like that is, just us being vigilant and watching out. Like, there was a change in her attitude, and even when other individuals who come here for the first time and they're letting us know that they want to, they want to leave their significant other, and they don't know how to do it and they want to be discreet about it, we always send them down there so that they can get their options, know what their options are. So it's a good program.
You know, you handled that very well in the sense that that is probably one of the hardest conversations you could possibly have
Mm-hmm.
to a not just a person who's coming in the door, but she was still a stranger who was reaching out in a different fashion, and you got to the point where there was some disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about the difficulty of asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
That's even more difficult
Yeah.
for people on any side of things. I've had conversations with the organization Care about the dating side of things and how that's changed. And
Mm-hmm.
we as adults, we look at things differently today because we're forced into AI, we're forced into the computer age.
Yeah.
We're so different than 10 years ago. We're different than 30 years ago. And then
Yeah.
back, I hate to sound like this, but at 63, my teenage years were 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So things have progressed in a way in 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think my mom, I said this to somebody the other day. My mom bought one of the very first Apple computers,
Oh, wow.
and we weren't allowed to touch it because she could make money, because she would type papers and it helped her back then. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that was probably, gosh, I want to say that was in the either the late 70s or early 80s.
Oh, wow.
And now go back and think about that for a second. That was a life changing event for her to get a computer that actually
Mm-hmm.
did some crazy stuff. But we're looking at things today with AI and really this online behavior that's out there in all kinds of aspects of it.
Mm-hmm.
That has to add another level, not just for you guys, but also with with Spark, with domestic violence types of things. It just in having these conversations, they matter. But
Mm-hmm.
it also matters that social media should also be a tool, like you said. The churches
Mm-hmm.
are utilizing it. Meals on Wheels are utilizing it. So there's some really good aspects of the social media side of things that
Mm-hmm.
help assist your organization and other organizations. But we really have got to learn, I think, to freely talk about social media and maybe some guardrails we should place upon ourselves when it comes to that stuff. But that's another topic for another day, I'm sure, because I
Yeah.
don't think we can address that all in 7 minutes. But
Yeah.
you, you have to feel that in what you do because you see a lot of these people come in the door and they probably have the same aspect and these conversations are there, but it's a difficult conversation.
Yeah. It really is. It's like I said, I didn't want to pry, but the kid, especially her kids were with her, so like
Right.
I didn't want to have that conversation in front of her children. She's like, they know because they see it. So like I'm talking about it because they see it and I want to do it for them. So it is tricky to have conversations with a lot of individuals here, depending on their situation, because you don't want to assume. You don't want to assume, and you just want to make sure like to make them feel comfortable enough where, like we mentioned, that they ask for the help, that they know that we're here so that they can feel comfortable enough so that they don't feel judged by asking us. And there has been people who are like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. We're like, do not be sorry. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you. That's what we want to do. So we didn't get in social services because we didn't want to help people. We're here to help people.
I've got to say this because you say that with that laughter. When somebody has a social services degree, they're not going into social services for the get rich quick scheme.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
it is probably one of the most thankless jobs
Hmm.
that we have. And it is one of the most valuable jobs when you're in need.
Yes, I
And
agree.
that is scary when you think about that with that perspective,
Hmm.
because the social services, the social warriors of the world, um, they get called a lot of names, they get trashed a lot of things, and
Hmm.
when somebody needs help, those are the people who don't trash them. They're just relying on them. So there's a distinct difference
Yeah.
when you're in need from when you're looking at the pulpit or the bully pulpit from above a lot of times, and you'd think it's not there. The people handle things different. They just go, they're taking a different walk through life. And a lot of times you can't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. Oh
They look
yeah.
happy, they're dressing smart, they're doing their thing, and their life
Hmm.
is a disaster.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
that's sorry, go ahead.
nope, go ahead.
That's what our social service manager says, Janet. She always says we are all a paycheck away from needing the assistant. Unless you have 6 months saved, which a lot of us don't. The economy doesn't allow us to have 6 months saved right now, and we're all a crisis away from needing the assistance, and that's what we're here for. It's not for low income, it's not for repeated assistance. We're here for emergency assistance when you're not necessarily emergency in a financial crisis when you're needing the assistance. That's what we're here for.
If we didn't have social services to help structure some of these transitions, I just want to call them transitions because in 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 order to get help without receiving constant help, you've got to transition from again that handout to the hand up.
Yep.
So you've got to get the full package. You got to be able to ask for the help, and then you've got to be able to get the help you need to get your life turned around and get started again
Hmm.
and feel like you've got, gosh, a little bit of fan base behind you celebrating with you each accomplishment through the
Yeah.
process. And that's kind of what you're talking about when you take them from office to office to office, because
Yes.
each time you do that, there's a success to each step.
Yes, there is. And we love to hear it. Sometimes we don't hear anything back and we're like, I wonder what happened to that individual. And then sometimes we do. They come back and they're like, oh, they got this, this, and this. And, it's great to hear their stories. And we want to hear from people who are thriving because they got our assistance, at one point. So we love to hear the stories for that all the agencies or even people come and just say, hey, I got your help and it really helped me. I'm good right now. So we love to hear it.
So we got a couple minutes left.
Mhm.
Can you highlight, we're approaching winter months. So can you highlight some of the things that people need to be aware of? Uh, and and I know you can do this well because we've got school starting up and things happening there. We've got holiday months coming up and lots of things happening there. But can you kind of highlight where things are going in the next 3 or 4
Yeah.
months? with what
Yes,
you.
so our home-based holidays is coming up. So that's where we have our adoption shop, where you're able to sign up to get some gifts or be an adopter to adopt a child. We have our home-based holidays as well for our Northport Meals on Wheels, where we donate 150 hygiene bags to their homebound citizens. And then we have our senior giving tree at the end of the year as well, where you can sign up to participate in the day. So those are our events that we have coming up throughout the year. So we got to start working already September 1st on those.
And if people want to volunteer or participate in helping, how can they get a hold of you?
They can reach us at our main line, which is 941-429-3700.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on today. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
And really, everybody's participation today was welcomed. We've got some likes and loves out there, so we appreciate that. Please share this information, and anybody who needs some help, get them over to our social services department. They are in great hands over there. So, thanks, Carol, for your time.
Thank you for having me. Bye bye.
Bye bye. We'll see you next Monday.
Yes.